Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Motivational Monday. What's up? Everybody get up. Get up, get up, get up. I feel like that one commercial. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Or I don't even know if that's a commercial. It may be from a cartoon. I can't remember. What's up, guys? You know how we do it on Motivational Monday. We talk all motivation. But I'm a bum and I'm running really behind, as you guys can totally see. So I'm like, you know what? We'll just get ready together and we'll talk about Motivational Monday together. Why not? Have you guys ever ran late to anything? I do it all the time. So we're just going to chat together this morning. Why not, you know? Hey, my husband's in the living room and he just got on. Hi, babe. But, okay, you guys, so on Motivational Monday, we talk about so much stuff, and we have talked about so much stuff. I have my notes in my book and stuff like that right in front of me, but we've talked about believing that you can succeed and you will. We talked about curing yourself from excuse-itis. We've talked about how to think big. We've talked about managing your environment. We've talked about making your attitude your ally. We've talked about how to build confidence and destroy fear. We've talked about how to turn defeat into victory. I mean, seriously, we've talked about so many different things. And today, actually, which I'm kind of excited about, but kind of sad about too, is you guys, we actually made it through. Oh, I'm dropping things. We made it through our book. This is the final chapter. So, it makes me so excited because we actually, like, you know, read a book together, even though you guys, like, didn't technically read it with me, but still, you get the point. We've done it together. That's been, at least with this book alone, that's 13 Motivational Mondays, so that's crazy. But this chapter is pretty much all about how to think like a leader. And you guys, thinking like a leader doesn't necessarily just have to be in business, okay? It can be in your relationship. It can be just in your own life, even if you're not in a relationship or are in a relationship. Like, people look up to leaders, you know? You don't necessarily want to be a follower. So I feel like that is super important to talk about. Granted, this book is a lot about business and stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't use it in all aspects of life, right? So, with that being said, how to think like a leader is very important. There's a little part in this I loved. It's like, seriously, the first like three, or not even, it's like the first sentence. It says, remind yourself once again that you are not pulled to high levels of success. Rather, you are lifted there by those working beside you and below you, which I feel like that speaks a lot of words, okay? So it's like you can't be successful by yourself. You have to have the help and be lifted up by the people that you surround yourself with, whether it's people that are on the same level as you, so beside you, or even the people that are below you, to make it to where it helps you get to the top, okay? So everybody, there's an impact somewhere. Everybody has an impact in some way, shape, or form. But, I just love that sentence, and that's exactly how the book started. So if you guys have never read this book, I'm going to drop this pen out of here. If you guys have never read this book, The Magic of Thinking Big, seriously, you guys need to read this. It's a huge game changer. I have, you know, done the Cliff Notes and stuff with you, but reading it is a totally different story. And if I were you, I would kind of do it like how I did it, where I had Chad read it to me and then I took notes, because I feel like having somebody read it to you helps you focus a little better, but then also like you taking notes helps you understand it better. So it just kind of, I don't know, I just feel like it really helped. And now all those notes I've taken throughout this entire book are written down. And having like visual things you can look at that talk about like thinking big and how to cure yourself from like, you know, excuses. Like excuses can cause depression. Like there's so many different things. So I feel like it's just so important to, you know, actually like read it, but write things down, write notes down too, you know. There's 4, you guys, this one's kind of going to be short and sweet, but kind of not at the same time. So bear with me. But there's 4 leadership rules, okay? that can help you. So I'm going to label them off, and then I'm just going to kind of talk about them in a nutshell, right? And I love the way that this is going to end because it's just awesome. The book ends great. So, but either way. Okay, so there's 4 leadership rules. 1 is trade minds with the people you want to influence. Okay, so that's 1. 2 is think, what is the human way to handle this situation, problem, issue, Number 3, think progress, believe in progress, push for progress. Okay. Number 4, take time out to confer with yourself and develop your supreme thinking power. So those are the 4 leadership rules. Okay. As I roll my face, how do you guys like this? This thing is awesome. Okay. It even it's cold, and it kind of even helps open up your sinuses and stuff. Make sure you don't get I'll sound like one of those. Make sure you don't get one of those gobbler necks. Okay. So just to kind of talk about them a little bit. So with step 1, or with rule number 1, trade minds with people that you want to influence. So to get others to do, the things that you want them to do, you have to look at things through their eyes. Okay. And I'm not saying oh, this is how you force people to do things you want to do or whatever, because I know some people will take it that way. But you have to look at things in other people's eyes. You have to be in other people's shoes to understand where they're coming from. That's why understanding personalities is super, super important. If you guys have never read the book, The 4 Color Personalities, I really suggest you do read it, because it explains to you how other people think and how you can get in other people's thought processes. Just to kind of name off a few, with the yellow personality, they're all about helping people. Okay. So that's the main word you focus on, is the fact that they want to help people. Then you have the blue personality. Blue personalities are the type of people that want to be in the crowd. They want to be a part of the party. They want to, if they walk into a lunchroom, they're not going to go sit at a table by themselves. They're going to go sit at the table with everybody, laughing, talking, yelling, blah, blah, blah. Okay. They like to be involved. Red personalities, like the money, the cars, the trips, the fame, the whatever, you know what I mean? The bling, whatever you want to call it, okay? Then you have green personalities, which are more so, they're into the science, they're into the ingredients, they want to know the background, they want to know the licensing and the permits and the this and the that. They want to know everything about everything, okay? As far as the ingredients, the knowledge, that type of stuff. So it's super important to keep things interesting, but then also you need to get different point of views, right? So you have to think like a consumer, and you have to put yourself in other people's shoes. So if you're trying to get, let's just take this for example. If you're trying to get somebody to buy something from you, let's say you work at a business, whatever, you have to sell. That's a rule with your employer or whatever. That's fine. But you can't just talk to somebody and be like, oh yeah, you need this. They're going to be like, well, why the heck do I need that? Why do I care? You know what I mean? You have to figure out what their needs are and think like them, and then start trying to sell to them. And also don't be pushy and salesy and all that stuff. That's annoying too, I feel like I'm about to go to a rave or something. But either way, you just want to think like a consumer. You want to put yourself in their shoes and go from there. The other part, so that's kind of trading minds with the people that you want to influence. You just, like I said, want to think like them, and you want to put yourself in their situation, their shoes, and go from there. So with step number 2, or rule number 2, think, what is the human way to handle this? Okay, you guys, yes, I feel like there could be 2 sides to this, because some people would handle things really wrong, okay? Because there is, people that don't make smart decisions. There is people out there that, do want to hurt other people and their feelings and what they're doing and stuff, because that makes them feel better. There is bad people out there. There's haters out there. But when you think of what's the real human way to handle a situation? So if you're in a bad situation or whatever, it's what's the right way to handle it, And I know sometimes people feel oh, well, I have to do the wrong thing to get to get to the right place. Well, you need to really think about that. Like, if you're, wherever you're trying to go, is doing the wrong thing really worth it in the long run? Is it going to come back and bite you? Like, what's going to happen? So you need to respect people, okay? Like, you really need to. Like, if something's not going right or whatever, or if something is going right, you know, it's like you still need to respect people. You need to have leadership. You need to help people. You need to have loyalty and support. You need to believe and actually care about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much bigger than just being like, oh yeah, I have this, you know, business, or I have, you know, I got to go here, I got to go there, whatever. It's like you need to actually believe in what you're doing and think, what is the human way to handle this situation, this issue, this problem, or this, you know, conversation. It could be a good one, a bad one, whatever. You need to just do what's right, which is pretty much what I said in the beginning. You know, what is the right way to handle the situation? Build people up, push for people, you know, that speaks a lot of volumes to a lot of people. When you actually care about other people and their success. I feel like there's so many jobs out there that, you know, like, we're just another number. And they are so worried about, they want you to be at work so you can make them more money, and they don't really care where you go. And I hate that. Like, that sounds terrible. I know that, like, everybody, you know, or a lot of people need to work for people like that, you know, to make ends meet and do other things. But it's just like, I hate that whole outlook on even a business like that you have to use other people to get yourself to the top. Like, that's not how business should be. It should be a team effort. Everybody should do it together. Everybody should be successful together. And I mean, obviously, whoever is putting in more work deserves more success. You know, like, I feel like the work you put in shows everything. But either way, build people up, okay? Push for people. Put people first. And push for people to be successful. Like, that should be a main goal. You should want, like, even if you have employees, or even if you know, work for somebody or whatever, like, I would hope that your boss and stuff, like, everybody wants everybody to be successful. And, you know, some people aren't like that, but it is what it is. Hold on, I gotta look in this mirror. Okay, but with step number 3, so that was pretty much, you know, thinking the human way. Like, really look at it, look at the situation, figure out what you need to do, and go from there. Then you have, let's see, rule step number 3, think progress, believe in progress, push for progress. You guys, I don't think people really realize how important it is to really believe in what you're doing and really push for what you're doing. Do things take time? Totally. Are you going to get there right away? I don't know. Maybe not. But if you believe in it and you don't stop until you get where you want to be, it's like, success is going to happen. You know what I mean? So think progress, believe in progress, push for progress. So you need to think improvement in everything you do. Seriously. Like, yes, some things don't always work out the way we want them to. You know, yes, there's other things that happen that we can't control. But no matter what, even if something does happen, you don't necessarily have to think negative about it. Think positive. Think, how am I going to improve? Think, how am I going to make this situation better? Think, you know, big picture, okay? Like, oh, is this issue happening now? Well, I guess this issue's happening now because I have to learn from this and grow from this, and then to be able to get to the next step. Like, you don't know. So you have to think improvement in everything you do. Also think high standards in everything you do. Even if, let's say you want to be a CEO of a company, okay? Let's just say, and you're just a lower employee, just like a manager maybe, or an associate of some sort, okay? Even with that, it's like, if you want to be at the top, you have to believe that you can get there. And you have to tell yourself, you know what, I am the CEO. The more you tell yourself that, the more you build yourself up, the more you put confidence into your brain, the more that it's going to happen. Now, could it take 10 years? Yeah, it totally could. But that doesn't mean you have to give up just because it takes 10 years. You can still be a CEO in 10 years if you really work hard now. So again, it's thinking about the big picture, thinking about how you can improve yourself, thinking about how you can set your high standards apart from other people's. like I've said before, if you want to do what other people, like successful people and stuff like that do, then you have to do the 1% of the work that the 99% won't do. Like it's totally true. Let's see here. Obviously, believe in and push for progress, okay? You need to. That's how you'll be a leader. When you believe in yourself and you push for it, just like I've talked about before, you guys, like you have to build confidence and destroy fear, but you have to take action. Like you have to. Otherwise, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You have to push for things. You have to work towards things. Like, I think everybody, well, I don't want to say everybody, but I think a lot of people look like there's like this secret sauce or there's like this get rich quick scheme or something like that. And it's like, no. Any successful person's going to tell you that it took hard work, knowledge, dedication, sacrifice, your time, all these different things. Like, it just is what it is. There is no secret sauce. There is no magic pill. There is nothing like that. You have to put in the work. If you want to be successful and you want to go somewhere, you have to put in the work. And you have to believe in what you're doing. And you have to push for what you're doing so you can create the progress. So then in return, you can be the leader. You can be that CEO. You can be that boss babe, boss dude, whatever the case may be, okay? Like, you guys have dreams, right? You have goals, right? Okay, well, what do you want? Do you want a nice car? Do you want to be home with your family? Do you want trips all around the world? What do you want? If it's that important to you, what are you going to do to get it? And how long and how hard are you going to work until you do get it? Like, are your dreams really dreams, or are they just things you think you want? Like, really, you have to sit down with yourself and figure out what exactly do you want. And once you figure it out, do it. Go for it. Does it take time? Like I've said before, 100%, everything takes time. But you can get there. You just have to believe you can get there. And you got to push that you can get there. And then before you know it, you'll be there. And you'll be like, holy crap, 10 years ago, I was so freaked out. And now look. You know what I'm saying? Like, think positive. Look at the big picture. Oh yeah, and pretty much that's how that little part ended. I said be positive, which is totally true. Okay, so step 4, rule 4, however you want to put it. Take time out to confer with yourself and develop your supreme thinking power. You guys, thinking is so huge, okay? Obviously, this book is called The Magic of Thinking Big, right? You have to think big to accomplish big goals, big dreams, etc. Let's see. Being a leader involves time, dedication, hard work, sacrifice. It is what it is, okay? Also, being a leader can mean that you could be alone a lot, and that can be kind of hard for a lot of people to be alone. But even in this book, they mention, big names that we all know. I can't think about it right now. I just know that we know them because I was listening to it last night, but now I'm like blanking. Either way. And I didn't write them down. But there's famous people out there that had to be alone a lot of time. Like, even take, like, let's say Albert Einstein or something. You know what I mean? Like, inventing the things he invented and doing all the stuff that he did. He had to spend a lot of alone time to figure out what he really wanted to do and where he wanted to go with his inventions and all these other things, right? Like, he had to take time to do all that stuff. And so he had to be alone, because when you're around people, it's really hard to just like think about what I really have to do. Like, what's really going on? What am I really going to do? Like, being around other people kind of clouds your mind. But when you're alone, you have time to think. You have time to really focus on, like, what do you want? What do I need to do to get to where I want to be? You have time to take notes and journal or write things down or do whatever. Like, in what did Chad say? Alone time equals self-reflection and development. Exactly. It's like you can actually take the time to sit down and read a book or, listen to a podcast and take notes. Or, like, it's just, alone time really does let you self-reflect and then develop. That's how you develop, you guys. You have to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to do things that you necessarily wouldn't do, or you have to get the knowledge and everything to figure out where you actually want to go. Like, knowledge and all of that really helps you grow. So it's super important to just self-reflect. So you can develop into a better person. Everybody wants to be a better person. Well, I would at least hope so. Some people out there don't, but that is what it is. But yeah, be okay with being alone. It's how you create visions. Like seriously, like go home and create a vision board. Go, or even if you like can do it online or what, I don't know, there's some techie people out there that can do a whole bunch of stuff. But either way, it's like you can create visions when you're alone. And I feel like creating visions is huge. That's how things grow. That's how things manifest into what they are, is because somebody had a vision and turned it into reality, right? Let's see. It also helps you clear your mind. It helps you have more of a fresh mind. You're more open to what exactly I need to do or what I want to do or what's going on or how am I going to handle this situation or whatever. Like when you sit down and you're alone and you take time just to focus and breathe and, like Chad said, self-reflect. It's like all of a sudden your mind gets clear. You realize what you want. Then all of a sudden you have this fresh, clear mind over you, and you're like, okay, wait a second. I can do this. I just have to do this, 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 and this to get to this next step, and then I got to do that, and that to get you. It starts to all come together. Also, self-evaluating. Like taking time to think. Like ask yourself today, am I better than who I was 3 weeks ago? Ask yourself today, am I better than who I was 2 years ago? Ask yourself today, am I better than who I was 10 years ago? If you are, that's great. I would hope that everybody is better than what they were years ago or even 3 weeks ago, okay? If you don't feel like you are, then you need to think. You need to self-reflect. You need to do some self-development. You need to figure out where you really want to be and what you really want to do, okay? But thinking and self-evaluating yourself is huge. You need to be able to take constructive criticism even from yourself, because we're all not perfect. We all make mistakes. Things happen. But I feel like all that in a nutshell, you guys, is the 4 leadership rules. So again, I'm just going to kind of name them off for you again. So 1, trade minds with the people that you want to influence. So step in people's shoes, be a consumer, think like a consumer. 2, think, what's the human way to handle this? Okay, be positive. Think about how other people would handle things. Think about being not only just in their shoes, but how do you respect other people even if they don't agree with what's going on? Or how do you be a leader? How do you help people? How do you build people up? Okay. Number 3, think progress, believe in progress, push for progress. That's huge. You need to think improvements in everything you do. You need to think high standards in everything you do. You need to believe in yourself. You need to push for your progress. You need to be positive. And then number 4, take time out to confer with yourself and develop your supreme thinking. So self-evaluate, self-reflect, sit down, be alone, read a book, take time for yourself, and just really create what you really want to be and what you want to do. Have a clear, fresh mind for once, because it is hard, especially if anybody has kids or they're running around, they got work, they got to come home, they don't get a second. Like even when you're in the car on the way home, if you do have kids and animals and everything that's going on at home, like on your way home from work, just turn off the radio, sit in silence and drive home and self-reflect and think about what you're doing. Like there's little ways that everybody can do these things. It's just all about kind of setting the time to do it. And sometimes you just got to set the time on your way home because you don't have time when you get home. You got to make dinner. You got to do this. You got to get the kids to bed. You got to, take care of the dog. You got to be there with your wife or your husband. There's so many things to do. So you still just need to take the time though for yourself and just really self-reflect on what you want to do and get a clear mind and really, really think about like, is this the life I want? Is this what I want to do? Is this the business? There's so many things you can think about. Okay. But I feel like that's everything in a nutshell, you guys. But I love the way that this book ends because, let me go. So these are just little tips on how to use the magic of thinking big in most critical situations, okay? So when little people try to drive you down, think big. think bigger than all that, okay? The little people that are trying to drag you down obviously have little minds, and they're mad that you're doing things that they won't do, so that's why they're knocking you down. That's normally what it is in a nutshell. Not saying that that's every situation, but you guys know what I'm saying. Either way, think big. Think bigger than all that. If they want to be negative, bye, whatever. When that I haven't got what it takes mindset, attitude, all that creeps up on you, think big. You do have what it takes. You do have the mind and the power and the strength and the knowledge and everything. You just have to put it to work, okay? So think bigger than that. Don't let that depression, that stress, that I don't have what it takes attitude, don't let that seep in. Be positive and know that you can do it. It just takes time. And yes, people make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But then you learn from them. And then when you start over, you're not technically starting over. You're starting from experience. So it makes a huge difference, okay? So again, think big. Don't worry about that stuff. When an argument or quarrel seems to be like out of control or be crazy, or like you get into an argument with somebody and you're just like, oh my God, and you just want to freak out, you know what? Think big. Literally, put that thought right in your head. Think big. Just those 2 words. You know what? Is this argument really worth it? Am I really gonna do this whole argument and squirrel with you? Like, I don't want to do all this, you know? Like, this is crazy. Quarrel, squirrel, whatever. When you feel defeated, think big. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to fail at something. You guys know I hate that word, but you know what? It's a word, it's reality. People do fail at things. So it's like, it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to not get to where you want to be right now. That's okay. Good things take time. So you just have to think bigger picture. Why am I going through this bad time? Why am I going through this issue I'm going through? Why can I not get to the top in a week? Well, because it just doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to go through those ups and downs to get up to the top, you know? So either way, when you feel defeated, just think big. Think bigger picture. This again can work in anything, you guys, okay? So when romance starts to slip, think big, okay? If your relationship's falling apart, well, why did you get involved with that person in the beginning? Why did you marry that person? Or why did you get into a relationship with that person? What about that person made you love them so much before and now you don't? Okay, so go back to that time when you guys were lovey-dovey and whatever, you know, and think big, like, why did I fall in love with this person? And don't forget about it. Like, especially if you're in a marriage, you need to try to do everything you can to make sure that nothing destroys that relationship, okay? So you have to go back to the beginning. Why did I fall in love? Why did I put that ring on my finger? Why did I do these things? You know, and realize that you do love that person, okay? And I'm not saying that works out all the time, because there's, you know, plenty of divorce. My family comes from divorce. Trust me, I've been there, done all that. But either way, you still just have to think bigger picture. Why did you fall in love with that person? And go from there. When you feel your progress on the job is slowing down. So let's say you're an employee, okay, and you feel like your progress is slowing down. You don't feel like you're doing as well, or you don't feel like you're keeping up with the keep up, okay? Think big. Why are you not doing as well? Step it up. Do something about it. Take action, okay? Build the confidence. Destroy the fear. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and focus on what you need to do to become better. And let's move forward, right? And then there's the quote, you guys. I love this quote. I think it's awesome. Again, this book is by J Schwartz. He has a PhD. I mean, you guys seriously read this book. But the quote that I'm going to end on, because I always end on a quote. You guys know how I do things. It says, a wise man will be a master of his mind. So a wise man will be a master of his mind. A fool will be its slave. Oh, it's like you got to stop and take a second. What is that like? What I've said this before, but it's like I'm about to throw my shoe. I feel like I'm in church, you know? So it's like, seriously, a wise man will be a master of his mind. Take control. Be a master of your mind, okay? Or you can be a fool and you can be a slave to it. Which one are you going to choose? You know what I mean? Like, literally every time, and I've said this a million times, you guys, you have a choice. Every day you have a choice. You can wake up and you can be miserable and pissed off at the world, and I got to go to work and I got to take care of these kids, and this dog won't stop barking and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can do all that. My husband left his socks on the side of the bed again. You know, we could all freak out every day. You have a choice, okay? Or you can wake up and you can be positive and you can just be like, hey, you know what? It's another day. Like, holy crap, I opened up my eyes this morning. That's the first thing you should be grateful for, is that you were able to open up your eyes this morning and have another day. Have more time. You guys, every minute you waste, you don't get that time back. So really think about it, okay? Either way, be the wise man that takes control, that masters his mind. Don't be the fool that, you know, makes it its slave. Either way. Love you guys. I'm going to finish getting ready. Hope you guys have a lovely rest of your Monday and happy Memorial Day. And I will catch you guys, tomorrow on Tutorial Tuesday. All right. Love you guys. Live legit. Out, 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 out.